61.
All right, we welcome you back to Fifth Street Soccer on the Sports Byline USA, SB Nation Radio Networks, also American Forces. Tune in, iHeart, YouTube, Twitch. Well, we're everywhere that you want to be right here on Fifth Street Soccer. Find us on Twitter at Fifth Street Sports. Find us on the web at fifthstreetsports.com. Welcome back. Nick Geber and Nick Webster with you. It is time to look at tomorrow's big semi-final match in the World Cup. It is France versus Belgium, the Franco semi-final, let's call it. Nick, France are the current favorites for this match. I'm going to put some odds out here, and let's have a little chin wag about it, shall we? France are plus 154, Belgium plus 216. The bookies, not quite sure. I mean, that's not a really huge advantage. I do have some interesting stats here, though, and this is courtesy of Chris, who sent these along to me. In terms of the World Cup semifinals, 60% of them have been won by favorites, 10% of them have been won by underdogs, 30% of them have been draws, 10% have been won by 2 more goals, and the average is 2.2 goals per game. Interesting stuff. If the favorites are going to win it, then France would win this if we look historically at 60% of the favorites win it. However, that's not a particularly huge number, Nick.
No, it isn't. And, I would like to give us credit for actually backing Belgium to beat Brazil in the quarterfinals, which went against the odds makers. This one, I believe, even harder to call. So I think it's going to be a last minute decision for me. When I look at France, I think I'm like everybody that's fallen on the bandwagon with this Mbappe kid. I mean, he's just electrifying. But I really like France defensively, especially Kante, who I think is just a delight to watch. He's Makelele, but better than Makelele.
Yeah.
And then the Tweedy and Tolisso at the back are just very, very strong. The fullbacks push on. And, of course, you've got the magic of Griezmann, who, in all honesty, isn't having the best of World Cups, but has still popped up with vital goals. So I somehow just think there's a little bit more strength in this French team. However, the Belgium team is just a delight. It is the golden generation. France certainly can't take that mantle from Belgium. And there's something about the fact that they came so close in 2014 but bottled it. In 2016, they had a great chance to really go far in the Euros. They bottled it. But I something makes me think that they've turned that corner. They believe in themselves. They're unbeaten in 23 games, and I think they have a few more weapons than France. And France like to push forward. We've seen them play on the front foot, but we've also seen this Belgium team counterattacking in perhaps with some of the most sensational football we've ever seen. Most notably against Japan in the last seconds of the game, and then again against Brazil with De Bruyne's air-to-surface missile to make it 2-0. So yeah. I'm still undecided. So give me a few minutes because I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, when you look at these two teams, I agree with what you're saying from an emotional and from a aesthetic point of view. If you watch the games, there's a certain free-flowing joy and passion to the French game. You don't always see that with the Belgian side. They're a little bit more workmanlike, I would say. Certainly Giroud for France has been a disappointment for some, but he opens up space that allows Mbappe to make those runs through. He opens up gaps like in the NFL, where the linemen open up gaps in the line so that the running back can come through. Excuse me, American sports fans, if I'm completely ignorant about the NFL. I do tend to be that way. But we do see some of that. He opens up space, and he is overdue to score. But then I look at the statistics, and I always sort of like to look at stats, Nick, because they somewhat suck out the emotion out of these matches. And I can tell you that Belgium have scored twice as many goals in open play as France has. They've scored 12 goals in open play as opposed to only 6 for the French. They've outscored the French 14 goals to 9 over 5 matches. So, if you're looking at that, for all the beautiful play of the 4 teams in the tournament left, the French have actually scored the fewest number of goals out of all of them. And in terms of goals against, they have the same goals against as both Croatia, England, and England. Belgium has 1 more goal against. So, I mean, defensively, they're all been pretty solid. I would go back to the Belgium-Japan match. You know, I mean, look, Japan were a wonderful story in this World Cup. But let's be honest, a team like Belgium should be making short work of a team like Japan. Japan had 2 world stars, 2 players that have been seasoned at the highest level of global football. Other than that, they were a very organized and workmanlike team. I loved watching them, by the way. Much credit to the Japanese team, so I'm certainly not denigrating them. But my goodness, the Belgians made hard work of that, Nick. And I look at that and I think, yeah, you know, that's Japan. Now, they got up for the Brazil match, but I just don't know how good Brazil really were. I don't think they were really all that very good, actually. And now they're facing a French team that, although it doesn't score as many goals, seems to not really struggle all that much in their matches going through. So I'm going to incline to say, even though the stats say Belgium, I'm actually going to go for France in this match, Nick.
Well, I hear your point about the Japan game. What I will say is that Martinez maybe got his tactics wrong, didn't start Chadli, didn't start Fellaini, and perhaps there was some overconfidence within the Belgian team. They'd won their first 3 games, topped the group. Oh, you're only playing Japan, who was second in their group that contained Colombia and Senegal, and I think maybe they were a little bit casual. And if at this level of the game, if you're not 100% switched on, if you're 99% switched on, teams have the ability to hurt you. They hurt Belgium. Martinez made the right changes at the right time. They came storming back against Brazil in the first half. Belgium was simply outstanding, but I think they expended a lot of energy in that game. And if you look at the last 20, 25 minutes, I mean, it was just one wave of yellow after another. Yeah. And Brazil bought their finishing boots. Belgium might have been in a little bit of trouble. However, what they showed, Nick, though, they showed in the Japan game, they showed that they got some serious balls to come back from 2-0 down. I think that's only happened once before in a World Cup game. And against Brazil, they showed that they have the ability to dig in and fight for their very lives to stay in the tournament. And I think that's why I'm going to lean towards Belgium, because I don't think France have been truly tested in terms of character and mentality in this World Cup yet.
I don't know. They faced Peru, Australia, and Denmark in the group. They beat Argentina. They beat Uruguay. I disagree with you, Nick. I think this French team's actually been through a fairly tough mix to get where they are, beating 2 of the big boys of world football, Argentina and Uruguay. Now, clearly, the Belgium beat Brazil, but yeah, I don't know, Nick. I'm inclined to. I'm going to go France on this match. I'm going to go France, and even though the numbers say this should be a high-scoring match, I don't know so much. The goal line on looks like it's 2 goals. The over is plus 109. The under is minus 124. I'm probably going to take the over at a 2-1 for France. I think 2-1 France. So I take the over at plus 109. I take France at plus 154. Nick, you would go the other way, I assume.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm actually going to go Belgium and the over. I like the 2-1 scoreline. I think that's pretty reasonable. And I think that's a pretty reasonable bet in 90 minutes as well. So I will go Belgium 2-1. And basically for the viewers and listeners at home, it's a coin flip. Who do you like, Nick or Nick?
Yeah, now the draw, if you think it's going to draw out in the 90 minutes and then go to extra time, is plus 224, which is, 2.5 to 1, a little under 2.25 to 1. It might be worth a small speculative sort of hedge bet there if you want to put that in. The lines are Belgium to advance, period. That means extra time or regulation. It doesn't matter. Plus 113, and France are minus 128. So France are the favorites here over Belgium to advance, and I do like those odds. Some other fun prop bets here, Nick. I was looking at these and I couldn't believe the values on these, so I want to share these with you right now. 90 minutes plus stoppage time only. Belgium, France. Total offsides in the game over 3.5. Pays plus 210. With these two teams, you are going to get offsides calls. Nick, do you agree with me?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you look at the pace of Mbappe and Hazard and Lukaku, they're always going to be cheating. They're always going to be playing on the shoulder of the last defender. And when you're playing on the shoulder of the last defender and you lose concentration for a split second, they step up, you're offside. I would say that's an exceptional bet.
Well, how about this one if you want to be a little cheekier here? Plus 502, 5-1, over 4.5 offsides. I might be tempted to take that as well.
Well, for that to happen, both teams need to be playing a very high line. And I think they're going to be well aware of each other's pace. So that leads me to believe that perhaps the lines aren't going to be quite as aggressive as they usually are.
And with the danger of both these teams, they both have incredible target men and the ability to score goals. I think we're going to see less of the high press here, Nick.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, semifinals are traditionally, they're pretty nervy, tense affairs, and no one wants to be responsible for making the mistake that's going to cost you the game. This is where I think the experience of Belgium may come to the fore.
Well, we'll see. On the other hand, I look at their manager and I scratch my head, but that's another point of discussion. By the way, there was lots of talk that he was going to get the Spain job, but that apparently already was given. Hierro was fired already from Spain. The manager that was there for 16 and a half hours got fired. But the discussions were that Roberto Martinez was going to be given that job, but it already went somewhere else. All right, let's go. What's that?
That segues actually into a member of the coaching staff actually for Belgium, a certain Thierry Henry, who won the World Cup and European Championship with France. He's actually on the Belgium coaching staff. He's Roberto Martinez's number 3. How much info do you think he's giving Martinez? I mean, this is the country of his birth, the country that's basically propelled him to be one of the greatest players the world has ever seen. And now he's got to face France in a semi-final of the World Cup. Split loyalties right there, Mr. Guiba.
Well, the man is obviously a traitor and must be guillotined upon return to La Belle France.
Surrendering, huh?
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, it's a free world out there. You want to be a traitor to your country, you certainly can. Thierry Henry doing that, in the eyes of many Frenchmen, I might add. Very interesting, Nick. We'll have to pick that topic up another time, especially after we see the results of this match. Very quickly, first goal, Antoine Griezmann scores the first goal, plus 600. Mbappe, first goal, plus 675. Giroud, who's yet to score a goal, plus 930. Pogba, plus 1950. Those are the first goal scorers. You like any of those?
If I was going to take a flyer, it would actually be on Giroud.
I was going to say the same thing. You and I are exactly identical. He is so overdue a goal. It just might come to be, and at 9-1, that's a pretty good little bet. All right, folks, we're going to go to break. Nick Webster is with me. I am Nick Geber. This is Fifth Street Soccer. We are on the Sports Byline SB Nation Radio Networks. We'll be right back to wrap it up after this.
You're clear.
Not too long ago,